Imagine being trapped in a wooden box in Sausalito for a year with the one person who just ripped your heart out. Now imagine you have to sing in perfect harmony with them every single night.
The record plant back then was all wood and dark. I guess somewhat good for creating, but we never saw, there's no windows in this place. We never saw the sun. I didn't know what time of day it was half the time.
That was the record plant in 1976. The air was thick, not with just Sausalito fog, but with a heavy, sweet scent of expensive California weed and enough cocaine to bankroll a small country. By the time we got to Rumours, the emotional roller coaster was in full motion and we were all in a ditch. 5 people were locked inside, and every single one of them was mid-collapse. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, done. 6 years of being a duo, over just as the microphones went live. We literally didn't talk other than to say, what key is this song in? We were as cold as ice to each other because John found it easier that way. John and Christine McVie divorcing after 8 years of marriage.
Except for the civilities in life, like what key is this song in, that would be more or less it. And so we just spent 6 months in that studio avoiding each other.
Mick Fleetwood, he was just finding out his wife was having an affair with his best friend.
I was not spared at all. My best friend was having an affair with my wife, Jenny, and he was sort of still a friend, because he still is, he's a great chap. And I was sort of happy that if someone was going to do that, it was him.
Most bands break up and then stop making music.
There's pain involved like that, disappointment, heartache. People are allowed a requisite amount of distance and time in order to let the dust settle before they move on. Well, we did not have that luxury.
Fleetwood Mac decided to do the opposite.
By the time we got to Sausalito to start Rumours, the roller coaster was in motion with 2 challenges, really. One was a musical challenge, and make another Fleetwood Mac album. And 2 was knowing that what was going on personally.
They decided to document the autopsy while the body was still warm. Think about the sheer weight of that room.
And the 3 of them created the sound. It was amazing. And it was even more amazing for me because they oftentimes had to sing on 1 microphone or on 3 microphones in a small room, looking at each other. And you can imagine the turmoil they were going through when all these relationships were breaking up.
We got Lindsey and Stevie, 2 people who can't stand to look at each other, forced to share a single microphone to get that tight, shimmering vocal blend. Every time they sang, they were smelling each other's hair, feeling the warmth of each other's breath, all while singing lyrics that were essentially poison pen letters.
So therefore, never really had the luxury of closure. And also you had 3 writers. So Stevie was writing songs, basically dialogues to me. I was basically writing dialogues to her. And Christine McVie was writing dialogues to John.
But here's the thing, the tension wasn't just a byproduct, it was the fuel. Take Go Your Own Way. Lindsey wrote that. It's a jagged, angry piece of work. But then he makes Stevie, the woman he's writing about, sing the backup vocals. He's literally forcing her to harmonize with his own resentment. She hated it. Every time those words would come out on stage, I wanted to go over and kill him. She reportedly begged him to change the line about shacking up, but he wouldn't budge.
I went down there and Mick took me outside in the parking lot and said, Silver Springs is not going to go on the record. And another of your songs I don't want to know is. So you have to do a vocal on that. And I'm really sorry, but it's just the way it is. It's the way it's got to be.
He wanted her to feel the sting of it every time the tape rolled. Now I walk down the hall. In another room, Stevie is writing Dreams.
She wasn't a full-time musician, so she would go and write songs, and she came busting into the room with and says, I just wrote the best song I've ever written. She says, you got to hear it. And we had just finished recording something else, and so she sat down, and of course we always have everything ready to go as part of my policy. I have a piano in the control room, so you know, if there's an idea, we get it, we capture it.
It's her side of the story. Soft, ethereal, but sharp as a razor. Lindsey had to play the guitar on it.
When the song was recorded, it was beautiful, but it was very long. And I am really, really touchy about shortening my songs, because then you're going to take out a verse or you're going to take out a chapter out of my book, and then it's not going to make sense, and I'm not going to be happy.
He had to craft the perfect sonic bed for her to tell him that he was losing his mind. It's brutal, it's messy, and yet they were obsessed. They weren't just making songs, they were building a fortress. I spent at least 3,000 hours on it. I wish I could enjoy it like everybody else, but every time I listen to it, I can remember every part, every issue, every fight, everything.
And the only way to do that was to take all of these feelings, say my feelings for Stevie and vice versa, and to sort of cram them into one corner of the room, and then to get on with whatever was going on with your process in the rest of the room.
It was unfortunate that we all had to be together to get over it, you know. You would like to be able to go away and get over it and then come back, you know.
They spent weeks, literal weeks, just getting the drum sound right. Mick and John would sit in that dim, windowless room chasing a rhythm that felt solid enough to hold up their crumbling lives. Then there's Christine McVie. She was the one trying to keep the peace, but even she was hiding secrets.
That was about my then boyfriend at the time, who, for obvious reasons, since he was our lighting director, was not welcome in the studio, and so it was a little awkward having him come to visit, because, you know, wherever John was, he couldn't be. So I guess we couldn't have seen very much of each other when he used to come and see me.
She wrote You Make Loving Fun about the new spark she found with the band's lighting director. To keep John from losing it, she told him it was about her dog. Imagine the technical precision required to record a hit song while lying to your ex-husband's face from 3 feet away. It was awful. You're told by someone you adore and love that they don't want you in their life anymore. The tension almost broke them.
I don't care what you say. And both Christine and Sandra had a glass of champagne, and they just went and I just had turned around just to see the champagne go splash up into John's face. So that's when I knew there was something, you know, awry in the sessions. Every day we'd come in, and somebody would, Christine or Stevie would have written a song the night before.
There were nights where the shouting matches were louder than the monitors.
Hurtful, because they were talking about I hate you and I cheated on you, and they had to hear this every day over 12 months. And so the band at one point had said, you know what, if we're going to be professional, let's be professional. Let's just, okay, I know we're not together anymore, and you don't love me and I don't love you, and we're going to keep hearing these in the lyrics, but we're going to put all that aside. We're going to just get through this, and we're going to be a superstar.
People were sleeping under mixing consoles, running on 2 hours of sleep and a diet of pure adrenaline and white powder. But look at the chain.
Lindsey was very, you know, he wanted to finish the song himself, so he didn't let me or anybody else really help him. And finally, it just wasn't getting written. So I had another song that I had written, you know, out of the Buckingham Nicks era that went with it. Perfect. So I pretty much just gave them the song, and it fit.
It's the only song they all wrote together. And it wasn't some grand moment of healing. It was a Frankenstein's monster.
And they come back, and they sing the chain and the harmonies and all this stuff. And so they all got writer's credit. I think it's really interesting that was the first song they recorded.
Yep.
The last song we finished, and the only song they ever wrote together. You know, so it just, there was a thing that came together with this band, and I think it was pretty miraculous.
They took a bass line from one scrap, a guitar riff from another, and stitched them together because they couldn't agree on anything else. That iconic thumping bass pulls. At the end, there's the sound of 5 people refusing to let go, even when they are screaming to get away. By the time they emerged into the California sun in early '77, they had Rumours. 40 million people eventually bought it. To the world, it was the ultimate pop rock record. Glossy, perfect and effortless. You can look at Rumours and say, well, the album is bright and it's clean and it's sunny, but everything underneath is so dark and murky. But if you listen close, you can hear the grit. You can hear the limp in the rhythm, the exhaustion in the harmonies, and the sound of 5 people who used their own heartbreak as a recording budget. They stayed together for decades after that, but they never really left that room in Sausalito. They turned their private agony into a public monument. The record that was supposed to be their ending became the only thing that could keep them whole. Think about that the next time you hear The Chain. It's not just a song, it's the sound of a band refusing to die. Thank you for watching, see you in the next one, and drop a comment, suggest something else we should make a video about. Have a great day.